let's take it from the top. Javari Barnett, a guy from the state of Florida that Illinois has been very successful in over the years. Great track record there in the state. This is now the 11th commit of the class, number 11th ranked class in the country right now. So strong start for Illinois. Victor Singleton kind of as the star of the show, number one player in the state of Ohio. So great start for Illinois, and going back to a place they're very comfortable with in the state of Florida as I pull up the tape here on Javari Barnett.
Yeah, you talk about Thad Ward, the running back coach brought this in, started his career at Florida A&M as a graduate assistant, also at Tallahassee Rickards in Florida as a high school coach, graduated from UCF. So the Florida ties with him are very strong. And with Javari Barnett out of Tampa Bay Tech, big guy, verified 11.5, 200 pounds, 11.06 meter, which is nice speed. That'll be in that 4.5, 4.6 range. He could also get faster as time goes on. But I think the size and the speed stand out, dealt with an injury, but was able to get through it. And it just goes to that Florida connection. As we look at Barnett, they got him listed at 6'1", 202. Again, his verified time was 5'11.5. You don't know if that's out of date. Tampa Bay Tech, good program. They just said 5-star Dallas Wilson to the Florida Gators. But here you see size, and then here's the track, right? There's that 11.06 speed, which I think if you try to translate it, you're talking about probably, like I said, 4.5, 4.6 with the ability to get better. But man, he has size. These
are only 3-game highlights, by the way.
Like I said, dealing with an injury, which may have lessened his recruiting impact a little bit, but that Ward with those Florida ties, I'm sure had the inside info. He's not going to get scared away by just limited film, limited experience due to injury. He sees the talent. He knows what can be when he gets him in his program. Straight uphill, right? I mean, this guy's running uphill, breaking tackles, getting to that speed. I think he's got more than enough size to play in the Big Ten. He really is a good-looking kid. I got to think he's 200. Just, it's always tricky with weights, but just looking at him, knowing the competition he's playing there at Tampa Bay Tech, this is real big boy football. And he's not dancing quite at all.
He reminds me of a back who had a lot of success in his career at Maryland and now is at Indiana, Roman Hemby. Built similarly, same kind of height, and the speed looks similar too, because Hemby can run, but it's as a bigger back, they don't always look like they're moving all that fast, but once they get to that open field, they're moving.
Yeah, remember, there's a 3-game highlight, like you said. So I know some people see these highlight like this, like, why is he not scoring touchdowns after a minute? It's one game, but you see the traits. I mean, look at the power there to bounce off and then get the speed to the sideline. And we talked a lot about the Florida connections. Why do we talk so much about Florida and Illinois? Jerzon Newton, Devon Witherspoon, the Brown brothers, who are originally from Canada but played high school football in Florida. Quan Martin, Kirby Joseph. These are draft picks in recent years. Some of them are extremely impactful NFL players from the state of Florida and Illinois. Gabe Akas on this team. Torrey Cox, Xavier Scott.
I was going to say, not to get completely off topic here, but I think we should probably talk about what Tywan Cox did this weekend. State of Florida, he's a commitment for this class, what he did on the track. But we'll get to that in a second.
Well, let's talk about it, man, because South Florida in particular has been very good to Illinois. We talked about the defensive backfield with Scott and Cox. But yeah, this guy, what his PR before was a 29.4 in the 200 meters and a 10.79 on the 100 meters. Has he exceeded those times?
Well, what he did this weekend was the 400, and I want to get everything right because I'm not extremely well versed on track terminology and all that, but this is what it was. It was the 4x400, and he hawked down Quincy Wilson, the Olympian.
Wow.
So I'm gonna pull up the video right now. It's we should have actually probably talked about this before but it actually comes in perfectly with this right here. But I meant to send it to you over the weekend, but here it is. He splits 45-14 to run down Quincy Wilson. So here he is.
So yeah, we're talking Illinois, Florida boys. We got to give you the full experience there.
And he's a commit. So
yeah,
but here he is. I mean, here he is with the blue sleeve, Tywan Cox. You can
good
see
size
good size on him too. He looks like a football player. And this is Quincy Wilson, who ran in the Olympics for the U.S.
So, Torrey Cox, obviously one of the better players on Illinois' team. Someone I think we'll be talking about in the NFL next year. South Florida guy, Tywan Cox's brother, just like Xavier Scott, another South Florida guy. So this is the kind of speed. This is why you come down to the state of Florida if you're Illinois. You know they're going to build the offensive line. You know they're going to get some big physical linebackers.
But look at this.
But yeah, you come down to Florida for this kind of speed. By the way, great endurance. This is not just a pure sprint. This is a 400 meter. This is a man's race, and you're seeing some major league endurance here by Cox. He's fired up, man. So a lot of speed coming from the state of Florida to Champaign, and Taiwan Cox is one. You'll get him in 2025, joining his brother this season. And then Javari Barnett, of course, joining next season, giving you a running back with some physicality and some speed. Illinois, man, number 11 class in America right now. And 4 players from Florida, 3 from Illinois, 2 from Ohio, 1 from Nebraska, 1 from Texas. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going. I think they will, so I think they'll be very good on the field. So I think that's going to keep these kids in the fold and allow them to add players as well. Really excited about what is happening in Champaign. It's a model that makes sense where you get the trenches. Of course, Coach is going to build that up. That is his bread and butter. You're keeping local guys home. You're getting guys from nearby Midwestern states. And when you need that speed and that skill, you go down south to South Florida. There's still skill in the Midwest, but you're going to get better defensive backs on average coming down south, and explosive running backs as well, explosive receivers, which Pat Bryant, Florida guy. You talked about Kenyon Alston from Orlando in this class, Florida guy. Of course, Michael Clayton, the quarterback, who I've seen a bunch of times, really like him, big size, has an arm, very well battle-tested down here. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. So the Florida invasion continues, and I know folks in Illinois are happy to welcome him up north instead of those guys coming down south to the west coast of Florida, like we're used to seeing Chicago people and Midwesterners come down to Naples and all that. Now we're sending our Florida boys up north, and it's going to lead to some really good football.
Illinois fans, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this sort of content. We've done a lot of stuff on Illinois this spring and going to continue into the summer and into the season.